government should please answer Asuu in whatever way they want to answer them. Please, positively, we need positive response.
There are 3 C's of valuta: consultation, consolidation, before this confrontation. We've done the 2 series of valuta, and this is the last one. We are all saying one thing, that the federal government and Asuu should come to a roundtable meeting and fix the problem between them.
All right, you're welcome back from that break. If you just joined us, you're watching The Big Issue on Osrc TV. And our focus today is still on the Asuu strike, which has been going on for weeks and running into months now. And this particular edition is focusing more on its impact on the students, as led by lead discussant, Mr. Shola Abidakun, a legal practitioner. Right now, I'm being joined by Mr. BC Adigun, a retired teacher and a parent. You're welcome, Mr. Adigun.
Thank you.
Great to have you. And also, we're being joined via Zoom by a youth activist, Jonathan Obatalo. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan.
It's my pleasure.
Great to have you. All right. Following the discussion from our lead, today, we're going to be talking more about the impact on the students. One of the key things that he said is that Nigerian students have this resilience, and they're filled with a can-do spirit. They're willing to go the whole hog. They're willing to do whatever it takes to excel in whatever they put their hands to do. But, with the current state of the tertiary education in Nigeria, the fact that they have the infrastructural gap, lack of facilities, research is more or less non-existent at the moment, would you say Nigerian students still have that resilient spirit? I want you to answer that, Jonathan.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I didn't hear that question clearly.
Okay.
But I think you were talking about student resilience.
Yes. Our lead discussant, Mr. Abidakun, said that Nigerian students are quite resilient. They have this can-do spirit, and they're willing to do well. That's why they're excelling in wherever they find themselves, even in diaspora. If you now look at the situation of things, the fact that the infrastructural deficit is there, the non-existent or very little research opportunities is there, all of the state of our tertiary education in Nigeria, do you still think that can-do resilient spirit is still there?
Yeah, thank you. Nigerians everywhere in the world, Nigerians are very hardworking people, and the resilient spirit of the young people, especially the students of Nigeria, since independence, since the creation of ASU in 1978, and since the return of civilian rule, the current 1999 democratic regime that we are enjoying now, the spirit of the young people has been very, very resilient. And I can tell you that the young people, especially the students, has always been at the forefront, supporting ASU in their agitation to revitalize our public institutions. But the issues at hand, the ASU strike has been a recurring thing in this country, and since 1999 to this present moment, ASU has been on strike for over 4 years, 49 months and 2 weeks. So that is over 4 years, and we are about 23 years in this republic. Now, if you remove that from the ages of young people that you have to spend 4 years or 5 years in the university, and you are spending 7 years, the level of let's look at people that will bear the brunt of those industrial action. And for me, if not for the out from Nigerian universities, even when we are not so much happy about the situation, about the infrastructural.
Okay, I think we're having network issues there. Let me come to you, Mr. Adigun. You are a parent, and of course, you were once a teacher. Looking at the education sector of Nigeria and the fact that all of this that we're facing today, the infrastructural deficit, all of that issues that we're facing in the sector, how would you say it has impacted on the education sector and the quality of graduates that we're producing today?
It is very unfortunate that we are still battling with this type of problem, especially on Nigeria education. If you know the reason for education, any country without education, any proper education, that country will remain dormant in developmental issue. That country cannot move forward. Shall be having a lot of problems here and there. But for a giant of Africa, Nigeria, still have this teething problem. I think it's having an adverse effect boost on the students, their future, and on the parents and the entire community, our Nigerian community. That is why we are having this problem here and there. Any country that avoid quality education will never move forward. In any aspect of life, you can't do anything that can move this country forward. How can these students, for so many that are expected to spend maybe 4 to 7 years, are spending beyond that? Many of them are becoming parents now in their institutions. They are now marrying, even when they are expected to do that after their graduation. And the piling out of those people that have to go for NYSC, we are seeing that parents are even frustrated. It has even caused problems in various homes. Parents cannot even discuss, in fact, to discuss with your children now, especially yet to graduate. You need to pray for God wisdom. How you should address them, because so that you don't have a problem with your children. If you understand that what is happening, it is natural.
Are you saying what is happening at the moment is actually affecting them psychologically because you're speaking as a parent?
It affects them psychologically, socially. In any ramification, they are having adverse effects. And the society also is reflecting the effect of bad educational system in this country.
Okay. For a nation that is supposedly worried about the level of moral decadence in the society, where youths seem to be channeling their energy and going towards anything that would help them live ostentatious lives, should these students be left, on their own at a time like this, shelving their education?
I believe those in power too, they might have gone through certain system of education. My question is that, was this how they also enjoyed how they experienced their own educational system? How they
back in the days?
Did they experience this type of poor financing, poor infrastructure, ASUU strike on daily basis? It's as if it's better. We don't even, if it is under the education, I think we actually had that we have not even had this sort of problem is the education under military. Will Nigeria be calling for military to take over again? Our youth, in fact, I was listening to the leader, Ondo State student leader. I heard something from him the day first. I think I listened to it on the television before certain people disrupted their agitation somehow, somewhere in Akure here. he said, we have not disturbed anybody. They were having peaceful demonstration to show to the government that they had not been treated well. And the government knew that, they know that they have not treated, they are not treating these students well. It's as if you have neglected them. What are we using our money? What are we financing in this country then? What is our hope? What is the hope of this country? In fact, we are toiling with our hope.
We're toiling with our hope. I'll come back to you, Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. Okay, we're still having a bit of network issues. You say we're toying with our hope, with our future, if we keep going at it this way. Now, look at, you mentioned something quite critical, which was what also our lead discussant, Mr. Bidako, said, which is the fact that back in the days when these people, okay, I think we have Jonathan, I'll come back to you. Jonathan, are you there with me?
Hello, I can hear you now.
Most of the things we were talking about, the impact of what is going on the Nigerian youth and Nigerian students. In a time like this, you are a youth activist. You're always all about youth o'clock, the fact that youth should be up and, you know, about what concerns them and their future. With what is going on in the tertiary education in Nigeria, do you foresee that these youths that we're breeding today, the students are really the hope that Nigeria needs at the moment?
All right. I'm so sorry for the network, but I barely heard you. So let me just share my mind, please. Okay. And I want to say that all this year of industrial action by Asuu, you know, the young people are the one bearing the brunt. The university communities too, you know, the
Jonathan? The network is really, really bad on his side. But we hope that we're... Okay. Please go on.
The activities of students is the one driving the economy of the university communities, especially in Akungba, in Osrc, and some other universities we have across the country. But the tactics employed by Asuu, I think it is high time they change their tactics. The tactics of going to strike all the time. And if I see people saying that the only language that is understood by our government is industrial action, I do not support that. You know, it is high time we change that industrial action, and our lecturers, our professors should deploy a new tactics. You know, industrial action, strike was a very good instrument under the military regime. It is a Marxist ideology. It is not an ideology that is tandem with the realities that we have now. Times are changing, you know, with that Marxist ideology that when you want to speak to the government, you go to the streets to protest, to do all those things, to go to strike, you know, it is not in tandem with the realities of this time. We just seen what happened during the EdSARS when that action was hijacked. The one that is happening in Orita Obele, I heard yesterday that it has been cut off. If it is not properly monitored, we don't know what that will lead to in our land. So I want to implore Asuu that they should look for another means of engaging the federal government. Though what all their demands, they are legitimate. They are demands that that we, the citizen, the students, the youth community, the civil society organizations, the media, everyone must not leave Asuu alone. Asuu must not be left alone in this struggle. They have 6 major demands, you know, revitalizing the public institution, renegotiating that 2009 agreement also is one of their grievances. You know, I was listening to the vice president recently where he said the economic realities, when Asuu went into agreement with government in 2009, they were demanding for about 1.3 trillion naira. And the total budget of Nigeria as at now is about 6 or 7 trillion naira. So if you remove that to to rescue ASU strike. If you remove that 1 trillion naira, above 1
Okay, we can only hope that he finishes his thought.
They are not showing seriousness that they want to meet demands of ASU. So ASU must find a means. They must deploy another strategy, another tactics beyond this calling of strike all the time, so that government, the federal government, can meet all their 6 demands, and our educational sector can begin to run without the fear of strike at any point in time.
Okay. You mentioned something quite critical, that in this time and age, that strike actions shouldn't be the only way out that ASU should actually employ. Also, our lead discussant said that in terms of conflict resolution, ASU needs to find another way or other ways of channeling their grievances. What way would you prefer?
Yeah, one of the ways that I will prefer for ASU is an alternative dispute resolution. You know, we have like this chartered arbitration. We have.
Okay, I think we'll come back to him once we're able to get him back there. All right, you were sharing a thought with me, Mr. Adigun, about the fact that today one of the critical and most situation on ground is the fact that Yahoo plus Yahoo is become the order of the day with teenagers as well as even youths as we speak. And there are many who are looking for ways or anything that they could do to live ostentatious lives. And especially considering the fact that we are in the almost, at the electioneering campaign period, and these youths seemingly are idle. What does this portend for them and for Nigeria?
As I've said the other time, it's as if we are building enemies against ourselves. I'm expecting government to have resolved this issue of ASU strike even before the next election. It's as if the whole attention of the government now is diverted to election. And it is this youth they are going to employ for any blood-shedding act during the time. It is the youth that they will engage, giving them either drug or whatever to destroy their life and to destroy their people. When the election comes out, you now know that Nigeria is no longer one. Election has not the way government is handling this issue of ASU strike. I don't think it is even when the election is, during the presidential election, it is the VCs of the university that are going to employ to reach as what do we call them? Those that we electoral officers. So one thing is that actually, according to Mr. Obatola, I would like also ASUS to shift ground, because it is true that he that pays the piper dictates the tone. But notwithstanding, ASUS is looking for the best for the school. They need instruments they should work with. They need very good environment that will be suitable for education. And children, these children, they come from different parts of this country. And giving them quality education is as if you are giving Nigeria quality future also. So by the time now we continue to disrupt this thing, by the time the election now comes out, you will see nobody will be able to know whether it is ASU strike that is causing it, whether it is the Nigerian youth, or whether it's the political talk. In fact, you see them now giving these youth different names. It is when now they use them for bad things, they call them political talks, when they cannot achieve their aims. Why do we need to destroy? We don't need to, if anybody destroying the life of this youth, if we are destroying our future. I still mean it. The future of Nigeria is our youth. It's our youth. For employment, if you want to employ anywhere, you have to look for very sound graduates. You will also use years to say maybe of social experience, 2 years after social years with NYC. When are those? Is there any ground for this thing to happen smoothly? So it's as if, as I've said, we are actually working against ourselves, and there is no assurance that something bigger than NSAS will not even happen now. Yes. These students, because of their level of education, and they want to go to school. That's why you have not seen any sign of violence in the way they are demonstrating. I heard from the student leader of Ondo State Student Union that despite their demonstration, they allow their younger ones, those who in primary, secondary, to go there. They don't disturb them. In fact, that is still part of a very sound education and moral upbringing, that they can still consider that during the time they are protesting. I'm expecting even the governors of all states of this federation to meet on this matter. It is the, what do we call it? It is this private university, private primary school, private secondary school that are now enjoying the facility. There is no strike there because they understand themselves. But one thing is that there is what we call PTA. They also have it in our Nigerian universities now. Why can't they involve parents and government and the ASUs in the negotiation? Maybe the thing can still be better than this, rather than be throwing a political, maybe they see the attack from the ASUs as maybe political attack. It is not like that. Let them do. You can see corruption has bastardized the development of this country. It is money. It is money these people need to put the school on. It's running smoothly. And what they are now looking for, a single person in this country might have even embezzled it, and nothing will happen to it. But something will happen to the education.
Okay, so you're conversing that more people should be involved in the
negotiation.
For instance, when NAS met with the Minister of Education, they requested that students should actually be a part of the negotiation team so that they know and they are carried along on what is going on. All right, I'll come back to you, Jonathan. In a country where age is a key factor when it comes to employment, and then we have what is going on, like, we have posited here that reports has it that strike action since 1999 has taken about 4 years out of the years of studies of most of the students. And then same students who have to face the same labor market that the students from the private universities or outside the country will return home to seek jobs from. What does the future hold for the students at this time? I think Jonathan, let's continue with you. You are a parent.
Yes.
And most times we parents say we invest so much in our children, one, so that they do not have to lead the lives that we had to live or go through what we went through just to have a better life. But there also comes a time in the Nigerian parents' mind that, okay, after I have invested in my children, there's a time that they should also invest in me. I should reap from my labor. From what is going on at the moment, do you think that parents can still have that hope of reaping, whatever benefits from their children?
The reason children happen to be the benefit of good home, marriage, and every parent expects certain things from their children, but they know that they have to invest financially, morally, intellectually, to make their children capable of becoming matured and responsible adults in the near future. But when the chances now becoming so lean, it's as if parents are facing frustration every day. It is to still continue to feed the jobless youth at home, And maybe they are even becoming so old to the extent that they don't even know when their children are going to be given employment after leaving school. And the issue, I've been hearing that some even parents they have formed certain association of Yahoo parent. I don't know. It is another thing. Is that you see, in a society that is not well organized, evil will just continue coming out in different forms.
In different forms. All right. Now, one of the things that some parents have advocated, as well as some consequential voices, is the fact that education is expensive everywhere in the world, and that the way our public universities are run, where the students pay next to nothing in terms of fees, that perhaps government needs to take a look at this and make it like a part of it, that students be made to pay some form of fees in order for this universities to be run without solely depending on the federal government. What's your take?
According to certain, they say if you say education is expensive, you try ignorance. It's as if Nigeria has started to breed ignorance in this country as a sort of the malfunctioning educational system. In certain parts of this country that I will not mention, where they have turned themselves to kill professional killers, they don't even mind. This has been the reason why those people cannot change their mind again. They have become so adamant, and they love shedding human blood, killing people, giving their children to be enveloped with this suicide bombing, collecting little amounts. Their own children. You will now understand that that environment is evil to education. So what I can say is that
what if proper fees are introduced, so that if it gives an opportunity to maintain sanity and the school running properly, and all of this infrastructural gaps taken care of?
It's okay. As I was saying the other time, the PTA method should be involved. They have to negotiate the fees that can be, because not all these parents has a business doing. Some of them, majority of them are even retirees that are not being paid anything. And they thought before their retirement or shortly after retirement, they should be, what they have invested in their children, they should be enjoying it now. But opposite is the case. So there's no problem if they can meet and discuss the amount that will not be too much for these parents.
Okay.
There are some parents that are sending their children to private schools. These are the people that have, maybe they have had that opportunity. Not everybody have the same opportunity. So if it is the amount that they can pay, the parent also will join. They pay at the primary, they pay secondary, tertiary institutions. So what I'm saying is that government also should consider this caliber of parent I'm talking about.
Okay.
The retirees, the poor one, the one that they need financial assistance. So parents also want their children to do something good for them. They are investing.
So you think parents will be willing to invest?
They'll be willing.
In their children.
Yes, they'll be willing.
Okay. Still talking the impact of the protracted ASU strike on the students who are the future generation of the nation, Nigeria. One of the key things that some people have called for at a time like this is that these students should actually embrace this opportunity to acquire skills, that they should go about learning one skill or the other rather than just sit at home. And you know what they say, that an idle mind, an idle hand is a devil's workshop. As a parent, what do you think of that?
I support that idea. It is not even good for any of them now to sit at home for so long a time doing nothing. For somebody who wants to achieve great thing in the near future, every minute is very meaningful for him or her at this time. They should go about to learn something, learn some skills. If you learn it, you become a professional in that area. Actually, people I mean, the white collar job has encouraged production of graduate. They are basic. I mean, they have been production of graduate, have big ones.
Have big graduates.
Yes, and in the process, what we now see is that at the end of the day, that person can become nuisance in that particular job. So we have seen people who have started from little thing, little trade, and they have become bigger people, bigger women this time around. They are the people that are even helping this country to develop industrially. So I think the best thing for them is to look for something doing. If it is going to farm or to go and learn something, there are many things that are banned. In fact, Nigeria is God nation, where every opportunities are banned, despite the frustration. So I've seen students that has acquired more than two skills. Despite this, and is moving around, is being given job here and there now. And in fact, the parents are very happy. As I've told you, these children they are our hope. We want them to become great also. So Nigeria should see that these are our own children also. And if you want Nigeria to become great, these children must be, they should be given adequate education.
Okay, before I continue in that line of questioning, you mentioned something that the state of our tertiary education has encouraged production of half-baked graduates who cannot really defend the certificates that they're carrying about. So is it that you're really losing hope, or you have lost hope in the certificates of Nigerian universities?
I've not totally, because being a teacher, I know that as long as Nigeria improves from this type of unfortunate incident of strike here today to tomorrow, we can still catch up. In fact, what is happening right now, people may not even notice it, that a lot of our youth are going somewhere to learn something, and they will be producing certain things that if you are, I think I've watching your program showcasing these youth at their various level of professional, where they have been proving their professional skills. Okay. Not they didn't learn this in school.
Okay.
But because
skills that they acquired after. Okay, our lead discussant, Mr. Abidaku, was saying that if they must learn skills at this time, that they should be skills that will be relevant to their course of study. For instance, you would not ask a medical student to go learn how to perhaps become a tailor, a seamstress, or what have you. Do you subscribe to that? Or do you think whatever skill that is acquired at this time is not useless?
It should be relevant. No skill acquired that is useless.
Okay.
We are even seeing some medical doctors, especially the female ones, also having this sewing machine at home, doing something. And their children also practicing it. So some even go into this fishing something, fishing production and fish farming. They have gone into it and they are making something out of it. In fact, they are settled. Some of them are settled. Although it cannot be everywhere, but what matters is that our youth should not be left to stay at home, sleeping, waking up, eating, sleeping. That's a waste of life. Life is wasting in that process. But they should make themselves very useful and to become matured adults that can be very responsible and that should even contribute their own quotas to the development of this country.
Okay. So you believe that whatever skill that is learned at this time
they can afford.
Whatever they can afford.
Once they don't waste their time doing nothing, they should use something should occupy them this time around.
When you say doing nothing, but it must be something.
They must occupy themselves with something that can help them.
It could be anything.
It couldn't be any. It should be something very profitable, something Although it could be something very useful that can make them, that will not tarnish their image. It is not this quick money something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that when you acquire it, people will always see it in your life. And you can also use it to improve other people's life too. Something positive. Underline, something positive.
Something positive.
Yes.
All right. He also mentioned the role the alumni can play. Many, like you said, you went to school when things were good, and many of those calling for, this financial autonomy, or that students begin to pay school fees and all of that because the federal government can't bear it all. If you look at it now, the ones who have passed through the school, who have benefited, at least back in the days where things were good, they had loans for education, they had so many things, at their beck and call to help them really get educated. What can they give back to the schools at this point?
You are asking what the
students who have passed, who have become, who are settled, who are doing well, who have become, great men and women
majority of them are from
in
association
the society.
Of the alumni association, and they have been. I've seen them, even like one of the schools here where I was. I taught. I've seen most of them building structures, and they have been putting in place either these medical facilities in their former schools. Then they very good and modern buildings has also been built. But this one also happened with the relation between PTA, as I've been saying it. Parents have something to do. In fact, if you want parents to increase the school fees, then you must encourage parents that also the quality of education also is improved. Yes, you can. If paying more school fees will lead to improving education. Improvement of education. But what we still, even the lecturers, many of them have become jobless now. Some of them are not being paid due to this ASUU strike. And they are parents too. So they are feeling the impact. So what I know is that whatever might be the case, as you have said, any school, once you train those youth, it's an investment. And if they have got something that made them great in life, I know they will pay back. They will come back to the school to make the school all right and develop well. So which means the students that are there will continue to enjoy the facilities put in place by their former...
You said that they will come back.
If
that were the case, many of the students who enjoyed it back in the days, from your times, from the back in the 80s and the 70s, and perhaps 90s, why are they not impacting? Why is the state of tertiary education the way it is today?
One thing is that they need those ones, especially Nigerians in diaspora, they need to be encouraged. Many of them don't even like the way government is handling the issue of schools. They don't have interest in it. So, but notwithstanding, it's still part of the purpose of education to make you do better, to make you understand, to make you contribute positively and meaningfully to your society. And how you can contribute to your society is what the society also have done in your life. Because the school is part of the society. But if you feel the school have not done anything, but I know there's anybody passing through any school must have achieved something. And Nigerians, especially the alumni associations, they still need to partner with the government and the school authority to make sure that at least maybe the overload is reduced.
Shredded, yes. Okay, I actually asked that question because what we have in our society today is a situation where most people who are doing well in the private sector, in their businesses, they will rather invest in things that will give them returns. Talking about perhaps entertainment, where people have to, give back one way or another to the sponsors of the events, and then they make sure that they are getting something back from whatever they're investing in. Why is it that today that hardly would you find many private sector companies, whatever, investing in education?
As I've said, they still need to be enlightened. Not many of them
think it's a function of enlightenment.
It's a function. It's a function. They need to be well enlightened, because one thing is that if you don't want your name to be erased from the history of your community, you need to play certain positive role. I mean, to immortalize yourself. It may be in education, it may be in provision of other infrastructural amenities, because some even construct roads. Some also empower the youth in their communities. Some also build many things that can bring forth, I mean, more economic value to their community. So, but it's still, they need to the educational achievement should have given them, because education really, it is through the output that they know that you are educated. If you are educated, you have not proved it practically, you are not educated. If you are educated and you have not impacted positively on your society or other people, you are not educated. So the education is encompasses the processes of give and take, investment, then later what you gain from it.
Okay, so even if it is not monetary returns like the businesses around would expect.
For instance, it may be monetary.
Okay.
And it may be a sort of moral upliftment. So it may be, but what I'm saying is that there is need for people to know that. For instance, if you see the medical associations, some of them will just organize themselves and start giving out free medical services. It's still part of it in their community. But what you understand in Nigeria is that it is when they are not going for political something, you see them giving gari, giving out motorcycle. In fact, giving out motorcycle, I don't know what they will gain from that. If the person is not even well versed in riding and it leads to accidents, you'll be able to say that that is what you are giving out to those people. There's need for us, for everybody who have been well educated, to go back to his or her community, to do something that can make the community say, yes, these are our children. Yes, to prove. Not until you get a political post. You may not even go for politics, and you may still be doing something great for your community.
So usually when people do something great
It's
for their
great for their
communities, because
community.
they're expecting something in return.
That is maybe in case of the politicians. So it's, but we have some serious-minded people who are not politicians, and they are doing greater things for their communities.
Okay. Before we let you go, I'd like you to say what would be your advice to parents at this time, and then, of course, what will be your advice to the students at this time?
This time around, I want their parents at home to be very calm and to be prayerful, because the matter, as it's happened to Nigeria, not that we don't have people that are well enlightened that doesn't know the problem of Nigeria. We have people who actually know the problem of Nigeria.
So what's our problem?
But to solve Nigerian problem is our problem is
it that we're not willing to solve it, or that
you cannot solve any problem through corruption.
Okay.
If you are so corrupt, wherever they put you, you embezzle the money there. A lot of people.
When you say if you are you talking about the followers now, or the leaders, or everyone is involved?
I'm talking to everybody involved.
Okay.
That the parent has, as I'm saying, parents should be very calm. They should not, when they are addressing their children who are in this type of conditions,
yes,
there are going to be clashes of it, because they can easily be frustrated. So, but they have to, God's wisdom will help them to know how to manage the crisis. But I know very soon Nigeria will move out of this crisis.
Let's hope so. And the children,
students, maybe you just as their plea will be heard by the government very soon, because I know government is not sleeping. Even the demonstration they are doing here and there, also I know somebody reasonable is thinking about it too. And very soon we shall hear very good news from it.
Let's hope that will be the case, that very soon we shall hear good news, and this crisis will be resolved, and students can get back
Get
to
back to your
their
school.
academic activities.
Yes.
Many thanks to you, Mr. B.C. Adigun, a retired teacher and parent, for sharing your views with me on the big issue.
Thank you.
Many thanks also to Mr. Jonathan Obatala, youth activist, who joined us via Zoom, but unfortunately we lost him due to poor network. We can only hope that, honestly, very soon the students return back to class. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti, saying bye for now.